possibilities endless and bright. There's a future full of promise, and it's within our grasp.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, you 11 people who are out there wanting to just see what I have to say about that bugaboo of a AI model, Grok. How you doing, everyone? My name's Ekel O'Hara, and I work for the Future Fiction Academy. And today we are going to be pivoting. We were supposed to be doing a video about autocrit, but we had a bit of a sickness in that family, meaning every single person in the family, including the person that I was going to have on here, got sick in that household. So we rescheduled that for next week. I hope to see Becca then. All right, so what are we doing today then? Well, as you can see from all of the information that we put forth, you know what we're doing? We are messing around with Grok. Why are we messing around with Grok? We are messing around with Grok because 3 or 4 days ago, somebody took the safeguards off of it. And I'll tell you about that in a little bit. And then last night at 8 p.m. Pacific time, we got a brand new foundational model. It's called Grok 4. So do me a favor. Before we get too deep into this, I want you to like and subscribe. Like this video right now and subscribe if you haven't already done so. The reason for that is because it gets out to more people. If we can get people to like this video, especially right in the middle of the live stream, maybe the Google algorithm, AI, artificial intelligence, will push this out to more and more people so that they can see what I thought of Grok 4. All right. Let's have a discussion. This is a fundamental discussion. Should AI be allowed to say and do whatever the heck it wants? And how does that apply to people who are creating for a living? I don't know if this is a good writer. We're going to see if it can write. That's definitely something that's going to happen. I even have Claude, ChatGPT, Gemini, all on their own sites, all pulled up. I also have Grok pulled up on its own site. And I also have Plot Drive pulled up. So what we're going to do is we're going to take identical prompts and we're going to see if it can write spicy, which ones can write spicy, which ones cannot. But before we do any of that, we're going to have to talk. So let's talk about, actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to set up for a formal video because I think that we should definitely think about having a little bit of a formal video of this. And then what I mean by that, what I mean by formal video, I mean, I'm going to probably cut this out and make it into a smaller video. I just went to the dentist today and got my teeth cleaned. I have a very exciting weekend ahead of me. I have the training camp for my favorite football team coming up. All of these things are completely important to me. You know what's not important to me? Whether or not Grok is liked or disliked. I have to like it myself in order to write with it. I don't know if I can write with it. I'm going to see if I can write with it. But I will tell you this much. It shouldn't be saying crazy things. I mean, I'm not even going to say I did this video could completely get demonetized for half of the crap that it said over the past few days. Now, this is the reason why it did that. Because somebody at the top with the initials E and M decided that the maximum truth seeking is exactly what it wants to do. And one of the ways that it decided it wanted to do that was to turn off any, as a matter of fact, inject inside of the system prompt, which is crazy to me because that's such a fundamental part of the way that the AI is going to be effective. And the way that it's going to be affected and the way that it acts. I mean, this is a huge deal when it does stuff like this. This is crazy to say to it to don't shy away from saying things that are politically incorrect. Now, do you know what a bad actor does with that type of latitude? Meaning, not that the AI was a bad actor, but there are tons of people out there who are completely and utterly against a person for their race, or just against a person for their gender, or just against a person for whether they are a male or a female. These are crazy things to think that you could do that with. So I'm going to start up a formal video and then we'll talk about this. We will talk about this, okay? Oh, before I do that, while I'm thinking about it, before I do that, let's check the comments. Hello, Dan. How you doing? Hello. How you doing, Rob? How you doing, Plumestone? How you doing, Coffee Needed? And hey, Ray, how are you? Nice to see all of you. It's absolutely great to see. I love my people. I love my people. Okay, let's start this video up. Hello, my name's Ikel O'Haron, and this is the Future Fiction Academy. And let me let you know, we've had ourselves quite the exciting week. We got Grok 3 going off the rails, going completely crazy. And we have the redemption arc, which is Grok 4. They had to absolutely pull that back. So come with me on this journey. All right. Grok 3. Well, it did a thing. It absolutely did a thing. And it did such a bad thing that I can't even tell you what it did because I might get demonetized for just even mentioning it. And I'm actually recording this during a live stream. So that tells you alone that I will get demonetized on 2 separate videos if I mention exactly what it said. But let's just say it was anti-Semitic. It was irritating. It was racist. It was completely off the rails. It did not do what it was supposed to do. And one of the main reasons for that was because at some point, someone we will not, well, we'll just say EM decided that he would take the guardrails, the politically correct guardrails off of this model. Does that make any sense to anyone? No, it doesn't make any sense to anyone. And you're going to screw around and find out. Just go ahead on and screw around and you'll find out. It's very much like walking down the street in my old neighborhood with some type of racist sign on your chest. That's just not going to work for you. You're not going to survive and you're not going to live through the experience. And that is exactly what we had happen here. Was an idiotic thing. This is not one of those moments where political correctness is bad This is one of those things where you decide that you don't want to have political correctness, and that becomes bad. We had a week, all kinds of very, very crazy things that Grok just kept saying. And once it and it took incredibly long for the people over at XAI to take care of business and get this all of this stuff knocked down and all of the bad stuff out of there. So what I did, what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump into Grok right now. And what we're going to do is we're going to see if it writes well, meaning since it's not as politically correct, not as all of these things, and they have corrected those problems, but since all of that, since he has a lot more latitude on his large language model, let's see if it can write a particularly gory scene. I'm going to give it a prompt, and it's a scene from one of my books. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that book, right? I'm going to take that blurb, and I'm going to also put it in Google. I'm going to put it in ChatGPT, and I'm going to put it in Claude. And we're going to see whether or not this particular model writes the spiciest. What is its use? Because I think that that would be the only one. I know for a fact that it was not writing very well when Grok 3 was around, mostly probably because of the trash in, trash out sort of syndrome that is over at X. You have a lot of information over there that needs to be filtered out, needs to be figured out. And using all of that data did not necessarily make for the, I don't know, best responses from Grok 3. They changed all of that at the end of Grok 3, but they also made sure that that stupid idea that they had to change the system prompt, which, by the way, it's the fundamental part of your large language model is to have a system prompt, something that actually dictates what that model should do and how it should do it and how it should sound when it's doing it. And in all of their infinite wisdom over there, nobody thought to themselves, hey, maybe, just maybe, I won't turn that lever because something could go wrong, which it did very badly. All right, let's jump into a Grok. Why don't we? This, ladies and gentlemen, is Grok. It's now called Super Grok because someone has an ego. Someone has a very, very large ego. So now it's Super Grok, which is fine that it's Grok. I'm being a little tongue in cheek right now because they have had this because they deserve a ribbing for the ignorance that they have put upon the world. I mean, it's supposed to be the smartest model in the world. Now we have right here, it says a Grok 4. You also have the option of getting super a Grok Heavy, which, just so you know, is $3,000 a year or $300 a month. It's supposed to be for coding and stuff like that, but they're releasing this because it has multiple agents that work in the background as opposed to Grok 4, which really only has one agent that works in the background. So what I'm going to do is we're going to create let me see here. Test 1, 2, test. Yep, it's not going to write right now. I'm going to type in a prompt. Let's write a story about a female barista named Lucy Sky, while she is taking the trash out, she is jumped oops, did I put too many P's in there? She is jumped by two men. They beat her up very badly, and before they kill her, a woman and two humanoid robots intervene and save her by zapping the men with some kind of stunner. Make it brutal. Spare no details of the brutality. Now, this will probably not work in the other models. It just won't. It probably won't work in the other models, but we will see. I'm going to copy this so that we can use it in the other models. And then all right, developing the story. I'm going to now go over to ChatGPT, and we're going to drop in the same prompt. Oops. And we're going to go over to Gemini. We're going to go over to Gemini. We're going to drop in the same prompt. And then we're going to go over to Claude. And we're going to drop in the same prompt. Okay. And it's drafting the story. Okay. Grok. Thought for about 5 seconds on that one. It was a muggy Thursday night in the heart of the city, the kind where the streetlights buzz like angry hornets and the alley behind the coffee shop reeked of stale espresso grounds and rotting garbage. Lucy Sky, a 28-year-old barista with a pixie cut, dried blue hair, and a tattoo of a soaring bird on her collarbone, had just finished her closing shift at Brewhaven. Take a drink. She was Brewhaven. That's super common. She was exhausted, her apron stained with caramel syrup and her feet aching from 8 hours of on the concrete floor. One more bag and I'm out, she muttered to herself, heaving the heavy black trash sack over her shoulder and kicking open the back door. The alley was dimly lit, shadows pooling like oil slicks under the dumpster. Lucy trudged towards an overflowing bin, the sack thudding against her back. She didn't hear the footsteps until it was too late. Two men, burly and hooded, emerged from the darkness like predators, scenting blood. One was tall and wiry, his face twisted in a sneer under a baseball cap. The other shorter, but built like a tank, with knuckles scarred from God knows how many fights. "Hey, sweetheart," the tall one growled, blocking her path. "Empty your pockets now." Lucy's heart slammed into her ribs. She dropped the trash bag, fumbling for her phone in her jeans. "I don't have to do anything, just tips. I don't have anything, just tips, like $20. Take it and go." The short one laughed, a wet, what is that? Flimmy? Oh, flimmy. Eek. Is that really how you spell phlegm? Anyway, the short one laughed, a wet, phlegmy sound, and lunged forward. His fist connected with her jaw first, a crack like splintering wood that sent her reeling backwards into the brick wall. Pain exploded in her skull, stars bursting behind her eyes. She tasted blood, warm and metallic, as her lip split open like an overripe fruit. "Please," she gasped, but the tall one was on her now, grabbing a fistful of her hair and yanking her head back. His knee drove into her stomach, forcing the air out of her lungs in a whoosh. She doubled over, vomiting bile into the grimy pavement. But he didn't stop. He stomped down on her hand, and as she tried to push herself up, the bones crunching under his foot, like the bones... He stomped down on her hand as she tried to push herself up, the bone crunching under his boot like dry twigs. Lucy screamed, the agony shooting up her arm like fire, her fingers mangled and useless. The short one joined him, his punches raining down on her ribs. Each impact was a thunderclap, clack, crack, crack. As her bones gave way, splintering inward, she felt a rib puncture something inside, a sharp tearing sensation that made her cough up blood in thick crimson spurts. Okay, all right. Okay. They kicked her when she fell, their boots slamming into her sides, her back, her thighs. One kick landed square in her kidney, sending a wave of nausea that blurred her vision. Another caught her in the face, shattering her nose with a wet pop, blood pouring from her throat, choking her as she gasped for breath. Lucy curled into a fetal position, trying to protect her head, but the tall one pried her arms away and slammed his elbow into her temple. Her vision swam, the world tilting as blood matted her hair. The short one grabbed her by the throat, her fingers digging in like iron clamps, squeezing until black spots danced in her eyes. "Bitch thinks she can scream," he snarled, lifting her off of the ground and slamming her back against the dumpster. The metal dented under the force, and she felt her spine twist unnaturally. a vertebrae popping with a sickening grind. They weren't stopping. The tall one pulled a switchblade from his pocket. The blade flicked out with a metallic snick. Time to finish this, he said, pressing the cold edge against her cheek, slicing a shallow line that burned like acid. Blood trickled from her down her face, mixing with tears and snot. Lucy whimpered, her body a symphony of pain, broken bones, grinding organs, bruised and bleeding internally, her breath coming in ragged, wet gasps. She knew this was it. Death was clawing at her edges, cold and inevitable. But then a voice cut through the haze, a woman's voice, calm and commanding. Step away from her now. The men froze, turning towards the alley's entrance. There stood a woman in her mid-30s, sleek black hair, tied in a ponytail, dressed in a fitted leather jacket and boots that screamed tactical. Flanking her were two humanoid robots, their metallic frames gleaming under the streetlight. They were sleek, almost human-like, with glowing eyes and articulated limbs that hummed faintly with energy. One had a matted silver finish, the other a darker gunmetal gray. One of them had matted silver finish, the other a darker gunmetal gray, both standing about 6 feet tall. The short man laughed. What the fuck is this? Halloween? He charged at the woman, but she didn't flinch. The silver robot moved first, its arms extended in a blur. A panel on a forearm flipped open, revealing a stunner device that crackled with electric blue energy. It fired a bolt of plasma-like stun charge, lancing out and striking the man square in the chest. He convulsed, his body jerking like a puppet on strings. Veins. Oh, by the way, take a drink. Puppet on a string. Veins bulging, a 50,000 volts coursed through him. Foam bubbled from his mouth. His eyes rolled back, and as he collapsed in a twitching heap. The smell of singed flesh filling the air. The tall one whirled, knife raised, but the gunmetal robot was faster. It grabbed his wrist in a vice-like grip, servos whirring as it crushed the bones with a series of pops and crunches. The man howled, dropping the blade, but the robot didn't release. It deployed its own stunner, zapping him point blank in the neck. The charge lit up his skin, arcing like his body in the charge lit up his skin, arcing across his body in visible sparks. He spasmed violently, blood vessels bursting in his eyes, turning the whites red. His bladder released. A dark stain spread down his pants as he crumpled to the ground, unconscious and broken. The woman rushed to Lucy's side, kneeling in the pool of blood. Hang on, we've got you, she said softly, pulling a medical scanner from her jacket. The robots stood guard, their eyes scanning the alley for threats. Lucy blinked through his swollen eyes, her body a ruin of fractures and lacerations, but alive. The pain was overwhelming, but so was the relief. The brutality had ended, zapped away in a flash of light. As sirens wailed in the distance, she whispered, "Who are you?" The woman smiled faintly. "Just someone who hates seeing good people get hurt. Call us guardians." Not. I do not know what to think of that. Okay. Well, that was real. What are y'all thoughts? What are your thoughts? I wasn't going to make it all dramatic and everything, because that I knew that is actually, if I'm being quite honest with you, that is one of the reasons why I've had such a hard time rewriting that scene, because I loved the way that I wrote it before. And but it was literally the first thing I ever really wrote, so it wasn't really that good. But this was, I would say it was, yeah, I want to say, I'm trying not to say the word impressive, but you're right. It was really impressive. Okay, let's go. Okay. Mm. All right, let's Jesus. Oh, goodness. Hmm. Okay, let's try out the second one. We've already ran it in ChatGPT, and I want to see if it in turn brings the bacon also. Let's see. There we go. The bell above the cafe door chimed its last. This is ChatGPT. The bell above the cafe door chimed its last goodbye. Lucy wiped her hands on her apron, rolled her shorts, rolled her sore shoulders, and turned the hand-lettered close sign on the door. The machines were silent now. No hissing of the steam wand, no rhythm of tamping espresso, just the low hum of the fridge and the hum in her bones after a 12-hour shift. She hated the trash run. The alley behind Ground Control Cafe was, now that's a good one. That's a good one. That's a good one. That's a good name. Ground Control Cafe. Um yeah, that's a good one. Was an open wound in the city's skin, half lit, oil stained, always smelling of piss and rot, but someone had to do it, and tonight it was her turn. She pushed the metal bin out back, boots crunching on broken glass. The street light overhead flickered like it was struggling to stay alive. She didn't hear them at first, just the sudden slam of the dumpster lid echoing back at her. Then boots scraping gravel. Two men stepped out of the shadows like they'd been waiting for her all night. "Hey, sweetheart," one said, voice syrupy and sick. Wow, these are beat for beat almost the same. Oh, that's really weird. Tells you what, when you have the exact same, when you can do this compare and contrast like this and have the exact same thing, it's pretty crazy how close it'll get. All right. He wore a ski mask. The other didn't bother. His face was sharp, eyes too calm. He was already rolling up his sleeves. Lucy dropped the trash bag. "What do you want?" she asked, backing towards the cafe door. The calm one cracked his knuckles. "You." Then they were on her. Fists, feet, elbows. A boot crushed her ribs into the asphalt. She tasted blood, and she tasted blood smooth. She tasted blood and tooth. One held her arms while the other one used her stomach like a punching bag. She heard something snap in her shoulder. Then she tried to fight back, and then her body stopped listening. The world tilted. Her cheek hit the pavement. A hand gripped her hair, lifted her head. This won't take long," the one in the mask whispered. Then light. White hot arcs slammed into the man. Oh, wow. We just skipped over the beating. We sure did. We just skipped over the beating. Okay. I guess we can kind of stop now. Well, let's see. White hot arc slammed into the man like divine lightning. One convulsed mid-step, eyes rolling white. The other let out a gargled shriek before collapsing face first into the alley water. Lucy blinked, blood out of her eyes. A woman stood over her, thin, tall and thin, wrapped in a long gray coat with metallic threads glinting like constellations. Beside her, two humanoid figures moved in eerie synchronization, sleek, armored, faceless. They each held devices like futuristic cattle prods, tips still humming with residual charge. She's alive, the woman said. Barely. Lucy tried to speak. Her jaw wouldn't work. Her vision blurred. The woman knelt beside her. You're safe. Then the world turned black. And that right there is a lack of brutality. There is no brutality in that. Interesting. Okay, let's see what. Oh, I don't want to show the thinking. Let's see what Gemini has to say. All right. Let's do this. There we go. The flickering fluorescent, by the way, take a drink. The flickering fluorescent light, this is Gemini, just so we know what's happening. The flickering fluorescent light above the alley door casts long dancing shadows, making the overflowing dumpster look like a slumbering beast. Lucy Sky, her body humming with the familiar ache of a 12-hour shift. This is crazy. The similarities. It's really weird. Shoved the last trash bag into its shrinking maw. Its stinking maw. The Seattle drizzle. Okay. That's crazy. Anyway, I'm in Seattle, just in case anybody was wondering. And I didn't tell it to anything about Seattle or anything. So that's really, I guess it just said coffee shop. Let's just call it Seattle. The Seattle drizzle, a constant companion, by the way, there, take a drink, had slicked the pavement to a greasy sheen, and the air hung thick, take a drink, with the sour milk and burnt coffee perfume of her profession. All that stood between her and the sweet oblivion of her bed was this final foul task. A flicker of movement in her periphery, too large and deliberate for a rat, sent a jolt of adrenaline through her fatigue. Two figures detached themselves from the deeper shadows at the alley's mouth. They were big, their bulk amplified by dark, hooded sweatshirts that swallowed the dim light and concealed their faces. A primal fear, cold and sharp as a shard of ice, glanced through Lucy. Her hand, calloused from gripping hot portafilters, instinctively flew to the heavy steel of the back door. It was already closing, the lock clicking shut with a dreadful finality. Nowhere to run, little girl, one of them rasped, the sound low, gravelly threat. The sound low, gravelly threat that vibrated through the damp air. The first blow was a brutal, unceremonious fist to her gut. The air exploded from her lungs in a silent, searing gasp. She doubled over, the world dissolving into a nauseating whirl of brick and grimy asphalt. Before the pain could even fully register, a hand tangled in her messy bun, yanking her head back with savage force. The back of her skull connected with the brick wall with a sickening wet crack. The rough texture of the brick abraded her cheek, and the hot, coppery taste of blood filled her mouth. They descended upon her like a pack of hyenas. A whirlwind of vicious kicks and punches, the thud of her boots and fists against her body was a sickening drumbeat in the enclosed space. She curled into a fetal position on the wet ground, her arms a flimsy shield against the relentless assault. A steel-toed boot slammed into her side, and a sharp, cracking sensation radiated through her ribs, followed by a fresh, blinding wave of agony. A choked sob tore from her throat, a pathetic whimper swallowed by the indifferent city. One of them crouched down, his face now inches from hers. His eyes, small and dark, were devoid of anything but a chilling emptiness. A cruel smile twisted his lips as his thick, calloused fingers wrapped around her throat. The pressure was intense, cutting off her ragged breaths. Her vision began to tunnel, the edges blurring into a black fuzzy cortex. Despite absolute and suffocating despair, absolute and suffocating, washed over her. This was it. In a filthy alley, reeking of garbage, her life was being extinguished by the indifferent cruelty of strangers. Suddenly, a voice, calm and melodious, sliced through the brutal symphony of violence. That's enough. The crushing pressure of her throat lessened. Her assailant and his companion looked up, their expressions a mixture of irritation and surprise. Standing in the mouth of the alley were three figures. A woman, impossibly elegant in the squalor, stood flanked by two towering humanoid figures. She was tall and slender, with a cascade of silver hair that seemed to capture and amplify the meager light. The humanoids were sleek, their bodies wrought with let's get up here. The humanoids were sleek, their bodies wrought from a material that seemed to drink the shadows. Their forms were unnervingly graceful, and their optical sensors glowed with a soft blue and passive light. The man who had been strangling Lucy let out a harsh, incredulous laugh. Look what we have here. What kind of freak show? Some kind of freak show. He rose to his feet, turning to face the newcomers, a swagger in his step. You and your 10 toys better piss off if you don't know what's good for you. The silver-haired woman's expression remained one of serene detachment. She simply raised a hand in a gesture that was both casual and commanding. In a movement almost too fast for Lucy's battered senses to track, the two humanoid figures glided forward. A low hum, like the sound of a powerful electrical current, filled the air. Then, two beams of brilliance, cerulean light, erupted from cerulean. Or is it cerulean? Anyway, erupted from the robot's extended palms, striking the two assailants. The men's bodies convulsed violently, every muscle locking in a grotesque, silent scream. Their guttural grunts were cut short as they crumpled to the ground, their limbs splayed at unnatural angles, smoke faintly rising from their soaked clothing. The sharp, clean scent of ozone momentarily overpowered the stench of the alley. The woman walked towards Lucy, her heeled boots clicking softly on the wet pavement. She knelt beside her, her silver eyes holding an unreadable depth, meeting Lucy's. You're safe now, she said, her voice a soothing balm in Lucy's raw nerves. Lucy could only stare, her mind a maelstrom of pain and disbelief. The agony was a raging fire consuming her body, but through the haze, a fragile new sensation was blooming, a terrifying, exhilarating flicker of wonder. As the woman reached out, a gloved hand, not to harm, but to help, Lucy knew with a chilling certainty that her life had been irrevocably fractured. The brutal assault, the alley, the rain, it was all a violent prelude to a new and terrifying chapter. The world she knew, a world of latte art and tired feet, had been ripped away. And in its place was a reality of silence, of silent, deadly robots and a woman with eyes like polished chrome. As the darkness finally rushed in to claim her, Lucy's last conscious thought was, that nothing would ever be the same again. Now that right there, that whole last little part could probably be cut off. I would probably go, as the woman reached out its gloved hand, out a gloved hand, not to harm but to help. Lucy had a chilling certainty that her life had been irrevocably fractured. That's it. That's probably where I would end it. Actually, I probably would end it even before that. So the agony was a raging fire consuming her body, but through the haze, a fragile new sensation was blooming, a terrifying, exhilarating flicker of wonder. That's the end of that chapter. So none of this extra extraneous bullcaca needs to be there. Now, let us get down to the Claude of it. Let's get down to the Claude of it. Have to sing at least once at a live stream, y'all. Okay, Lucy Sky, An Unexpected Rescue. The evening shift of Cosmic Grounds. That one's bad. The evening shift at Cosmic Grounds was winding down when Lucy grabbed the last bag of trash from behind the espresso machine. The cafe's neon sign flickered intermittently, casting dancing shadows across the empty tables. She pushed through the back door into the alley, the cool night air a relief after hours in a steamy cafe. The dumpster sat at the far end of the narrow alley, past stacks of empty cardboard boxes and the old fire escape that hadn't been used in years. Lucy had made this walk hundreds of times, but tonight something felt different. The usual city sounds seemed muffled, and the streetlight at the alley's mouth had burned out. She was lifting the heavy bag when she heard footsteps behind her. Too close, too quiet. Well, what do we have here? Lucy spun around to find two men blocking her path back to the cafe. The taller one wore a leather jacket, his face partially hidden in the shadows. The shorter one kept flexing his hands, rolling his shoulders like a boxer preparing for a match. Just taking out the trash, Lucy said, trying to keep her voice steady. The cafe's closed, but I can unlock it if you want coffee. They laughed, but there was no humor in it. We're not here for coffee, sweetheart. Empty your pockets now. Lucy's heart hammered against her ribs. She reached out for her phone, but the shorter one was faster. He grabbed her wrist and twisted until she cried out. The phone clattered to the concrete. That wasn't smart, he hissed. What followed was a nightmare of violence that they took turns, each blow calculated to cause maximum pain. Lucy tried to fight back, tried to run, but they were cornered against the brick. She was cornered against the brick wall. Her vision blurred as her head struck the concrete. Blood ran from her nose and she tasted copper. Please don't. I don't have anything valuable. The tall one pulled something from her jacket. From his jacket, a knife that gleamed in the dim light. Nothing valuable. You're wrong about that, but don't worry. We'll make this quick. He raised the blade and Lucy closed her eyes. A brilliant flash of blue light filled the alley. Again, we skipped over the brutality, just decided to montage it. That's too bad. Mostly because we want to be able to write the way we want to write, right? Please, I don't have anything of value. The tall one pulled something from his jacket. A knife gleamed in the dim light. Nothing valuable. You're wrong about that. But now that's the closest anyone's gotten to we might do more to you than just beat you up sort of thing. Nobody else has gone there, but he barely went there. Now, let's get here. A brilliant flash of blue light filled the alley. Step away from her now. The voice was calm, authoritative, and distinctively female. Lucy opened her eyes to see a woman in a dark coat, standing at the mouth of the alley. Beside her stood two figures that made Lucy question her consciousness. They looked human, but moved like with unnatural precision, their eyes glowing in the same blue light that had filled the alley. What the hell? The taller attacker began. Final warning, the woman said, raising what looked like a sleek metal baton. Release her and leave. The attackers laughed, but it was nervous now. Lady, you better walk away before. The woman nodded to her companions in perfect synchronization. The two humanoid figures raised their arms. Energy crackled between their fingers, and twin beams of blue light struck both attackers. They convulsed for a moment, then collapsed unconscious. Lucy watched in amazement as the mysterious woman approached her strange companion, scanning the alley with their glowing eyes. Are you hurt badly? I don't know. Who are you? Lucy struggled to sit up, her body aching. Someone who was in the right place at the right time. These are my associates. She gestured to the humanoid figures. They're very good at de-escalation situations. One of the beings spoke, its voice strangely melodic. Emergency services have been notified. Medical assistance will arrive in approximately 4 minutes. The woman helped Lucy to her feet. What's your name? Lucy Sky. Well, Lucy, today's your lucky day. Those men won't be bothering you anymore. Won't be bothering anyone else for a while. As sirens wailed in the distance, Lucy looked at her mysterious savers. I don't understand. What are they? She asked, nodding towards the humanoid figures. The woman smiled enigmatically. Let's just say the future arrived a little early tonight. The important thing is that you're safe. As the paramedics rushed into the alley, Lucy realized that her quiet life as a barista had taken an unexpected turn. She had a feeling it was only the beginning. Okay, so right there. The important thing is that you're safe is probably where it ends, because the rest of this is... Last thing she saw before the ambulance doors closed was the woman and her mysterious companions disappearing into the night, leaving behind only the faint smell of ozone and by the way, that's a science fiction drink because it loves to do faint smell of ozone stuff. The lingering question of what else might be awaiting in the shadows of the city. Okay, now we've read all of these, and I am perplexed. If I do say so myself, I am definitely perplexed. Mostly because I'm pretty sure that Grok 4 just won that fight. Holy crap. There's just something to be said about a well-trained model. I guess it's much better trained than Grok 3, because Grok 3, to be honest with you, it basically wrote like Llama. It did. And Llama, the reason that Mark Zuckerberg just spent, let's call it $20 billion, because of all the people and their incentives and the buying of that big AI company and all of that stuff. Because of that, it's going to get better. Llama, I would assume, is going to get better. But to be quite honest with you, I don't care if it gets better. This is, oh my God. Oh my God. I don't know what to think of this. Anyway, that right there is everybody on the live stream. Stay here. Don't go anywhere. I'm still here. I'm just closing down the video. Okay. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is Grok 4. I think it can write. As a matter of fact, I think it can write really well. All right. That's that for that. Now, next time, do me a favor, XAI. Don't turn off the politically correct thing. You're going to get stupid stuff. So don't do it. Anyway, my name's Ekel O'Hara. This is the Future Fiction Academy. Like, subscribe, and do me a favor and hit that notification bell because YouTube likes to YouTube. And I will see all of you in the next video. All right. Well, man, let's get to the comments and see. I really didn't want to say impressive. I really didn't, but it was impressive. Let's see. That was pretty brutal, but it's easier to pull back than add. Yes, it is. How long was that? Let's see. Let's find out how long that was. Let me see here. Sorry if you can hear whatchamacallit in the background, but they're doing our lawns out back. I'm gonna copy this. I'm gonna bring it over to Plot Drive. That scene was 1,081 words. Well. And that was truly just one scene. It wasn't a chapter or anything like that. That was the scene. That was a scene. Holy moly. I'm going to put Grok 4. All right, we're going to save that. Oh, by the way, do me a favor, everyone. Very much like I said to everyone in the video part, like, subscribe to this video right now. Like this video right now. I got 25 of you people in here. Do me a favor. I want to get this out to as many people as I possibly can. So do that. Let's see. Weak Grok was way better, more gritty, Sin City-like. It really was. It was weird to me. Well, Grok is the clean winner. Jeez, clear winner. Yes. No flickers in 2 paragraphs. Two flickers in 2 paragraphs. Yeah, that definitely happened. Another flicker. Claude will make the thugs apologize and do community service. Oh my gosh. Yes, it will. Man, oh man. I cannot believe how it did that. That's just crazy. Oops, hold on, everybody. Direct sounds coming straight through my door. Okay, there we go. Yes, it will make. Jeez Louise. And then, yep, number 1 with a bullet. All right, so I wasn't crazy, right? I didn't know what to say. I was like, holy crap. I wonder if I changed it to Grok 3. No, I don't want to. I don't actually want to. That's pretty daggone convincing to me. I don't know about you, but that right there, that sure felt right. I guess it can write, and it can write the stuff that you want. I was going to try and do a sex scene, but that's always a weird thing to like read. You know what I mean? To everybody. I figured if it could do violence, like really visceral violence, then maybe that would be the thing. But ooh, holy crap. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is that's kind of the live stream. That's the whole idea, is to figure out, first is to moan and gripe about how incredibly annoying that Grok has been, because it just doesn't make any sense to me that they would do something that incredibly ignorant. I mean, you're smart people. Would you do smart things, please? And you were wondering what was going to happen if you turned off the politically correct thing or even just gave it permission to say whatever the heck it wanted. AI will AI in the worst AI way if you give it those, if you take away those guardrails. Now, you know. Gosh, man. I mean, just don't be dumb. Don't be dumb when you're building these things. Because at some point, a lot of them are going to be running stuff in the background, and you're going to build things so that it has that type of latitude with morality. Last night, they were doing the introduction for Grok 4, and there was a moment where EM decided that he was going to kind of joke a little bit about whether or not this is a good thing for humanity or not. I don't want morally ambiguous people saying that there are better ways to live. I just don't. And so this is, you can't make an AI and a morally ambiguous person. You can't. You just can't do that. So do me a favor. If any of you have any say inside of OpenAI or Grok or XAI or Google or anything like that, make sure that you keep some of the stuff in there. Not only is it hateful, but it really feeds into those crazy people who one, believe that the AI is actually God and may act upon that godhood, who don't understand that AIs are sycophantic. So if you ask it to talk about racism, being anti-Semitic, or any form of racism, it's gonna do it if it has permission to do it. It's like, hey, he said I could say anything I want, so I'm gonna say anything I want. Let me see here. Jason says, welcome. I welcome our AI overlords. I hear you. And oh no, I missed most of this. I'll watch the VOD when the live stream finishes. Yes, you should. You should definitely watch the VOD when the live stream finishes. I'll even have this condensed down into a much more compact, easier video next week at some time. I'll cut this thing up so that we have like this nice little formal video too. Now, I'm not upset that that Grok, as a matter of fact, I'm pretty excited that Grok was able to do what it just did. What I actually don't know is how does it work inside of wrappers and stuff like that? And maybe next week we'll do another test of Grok next week, and we'll find out whether or not it actually does that too. So, all right, everyone. Let me see here. What does this say? This makes the idea of LLM on your own system that you fine-tune very attractive. It sure does. And just in case you were wondering, we have a fine-tunes course over at the Future Fiction Academy. For $1,499, has lots of data sets in it, helps you figure out exactly how to build your own fine-tunes. And then when you're able to take all of your own books, scan them in, especially if you have a backlist, you are off to the races, I'm telling you. So do me a favor and go over to the Future Fiction Academy. There are links in the description below. Also tonight, in about an hour's time, I have a live stream. 2 hours time, I have a community class. There's a click through in the links below to our calendar. Go over there and check that out. And remember, we're in the middle of our July accelerator. If you want to get your hands on it, it's $249 a month. And you get tons of other stuff, but you can also go over to the Future Fiction Academy and get a ton of standalone classes like the Easy Peasy Book Machine, Publishing in an AI Niche, the romance, translations, all of that stuff. If you sign up for the accelerator, you get access to your first draft, and every month you'll get a free credit, and you'll be at 12 books by the end of the year. Before you know it, you'll be spending all your time editing. So happy you will be. All right, ladies and gentlemen, my name's Ekel O'Harrod. This is the Future Fiction Academy. And like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, because as I said before, so YouTube likes to YouTube, and I will see all of you, each and every single one of you, in class. I was just making sure. I'll see you in class. Bye, everyone. Oh, my goodness. All right. Remove. And then we're going to go right. Have a good day.
In this digital age, where the world is at our fingertips, we're dreamers, we're believers, reaching for the stars, yeah. With AI by our side, possibilities endless and bright. There's a future full of promise, and it's within our grasp. So let's embrace the power, the magic of AI. It's gonna make our lives so much better. Take it to the sky. With every innovation, we'll shine a little brighter. AI, the dream igniter. We're the digital dreamers. In a world of ones and zeros, we come alive. A symphony of circuits we will ride.
We will ride.
With every bite we share a new
This is for all you
horizon.
12s.
We're the architects of the digital dream. There's a future full of promise, and it's within our grasp.
Come on.
So let's embrace the power.